Good morning, and thank you for joining me. As always, I'm your file player. Thank you for stepping into the file player land with me. Um, Wanted to talk about this proposed invite by Anthony Joshua to come spar with Tyson Fury for Tyson Fury's rematch with Deontay Wilder. Wanted to give my take on it, what I feel about it, and I was trying to use some historical references, but let's get into it. As many of you may know, and as I covered, I think I was the first to cover on YouTube at least the fact that Tyson Fury changed coaches. He is replacing Ben Davidson for Javon Sugar Hill out of the Kronk Gym in Detroit. Initially, some people were expecting it to be a change from Ben Davidson to Freddie Roach, and he put it out immediately that it wasn't going to be Freddie Roach who was going to be the primary voice in his corner, or whether Freddie Roach was even going to be a voice in his corner moving forward, which I don't think he is. But then it came out later on in the day that Sugar Hill was going to be the replacement. Sugar Hill being the nephew of the late and great Emmanuel Stewart, my favorite trainer of all time. Having said that, people looked at it somewhat funny. I really didn't, because I mean, getting a new voice in the corner doesn't mean much. I mean, like, sometimes it's a ploy out of desperation, especially when you do it really quickly. I think with a fighter like Tyson Fury, who's very unorthodox and who kind of like marches to the beat of his own drum, it doesn't raise any major red flags for me. The fact that he's gonna fight Wilder, it should um, be a good reason to try to change things up if you feel that things aren't rolling right for you as a fighter. And Tyson Fury, I think he'll be able to literally roll with the punches in spite of changing trainers. Um, do I think he's making an upgrade, like to go from Davidson to Sugar Hill? Absolutely. And I'm going over these little tidbits in the event that you, God forbid, didn't know that he changed trainers, and also because I didn't give a video when he ultimately changed his trainer to Javon Sugar Hill. But the main thing that I want to cover is the fact that AJ offered his services to Tyson Fury in preparation for the Wilder fight. It was put out via the internet that he was willing to do so, Anthony Joshua. And Tyson Fury responded with a video of his own agreeing to have Anthony Joshua come into camp and help him prep for this fight with Deontay Wilder. Tyson Fury responded with one of those ridiculous filters which changes your nose and ears like to a dog's ears. It's 2020. I mean, this is a PSA for everybody listening. Let's get over this. Like, I can't stand those filters. Can't stand when pretty girls do it, especially. Like, it's corny. Like, you know, new decade. I mean, new outlook. But, it's even worse when a dude does it. And he was actually getting massaged by a dude in the midst of using those ridiculous filters. Um, but what I feel about that, I mean, I feel that it smells a little bit of desperation. And it's not desperation, it's that a lot of these fighters do things that are very, very, very uncommon. And when it comes to Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua speaks differently. When it comes to Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury had a rematch set in place, 50-50 down the middle, or very even split. And he walked away from that to go fight on ESPN, which is not a major channel; it's a cable channel here in America. Um, so I think that this is more of the same as far as having Anthony Joshua help Tyson Fury with this rematch. Some of the examples that we were trying to come up with, like to compare instance like this. I mean, everybody's first example was Apollo Creed helping Rocky in his match with Clubber Lang, but that's the movies. And on top of that too, there wasn't a talks of Apollo Creed fighting Rocky next. But again, that's the movies. And Rocky actually beat Apollo Creed. Like they had already fought each other, and Apollo Creed offered his services after the fact. Some people also brought up Jack Johnson, and his opponents teaming up after the fact. I remember Jack Johnson's first trainer. I forgot his name. I think he was English gentleman who taught Jack Johnson how to fight and how to do feints and jabs and set up his jab. It was basically like very very basic fundamentals of boxing. They were supposed to fight each other. The rumor has it, and boxing was outlawed at that time, so they both went to jail for having this match. And while in jail, this other guy taught Jack Johnson the basics of boxing. That same individual later on in life, Tyson Fury. Sorry, Jack Johnson was set to fight somebody else, and the individual who taught Jack Johnson how to fight in that jail cell was in his opponent's corner later on down the line. Sorry, you can hear my cats in the background. But even using that as an example, that's going back over a century, like at this stage. So now you have these two guys that currently like were just talking real type mess about each other a couple weeks ago when Tyson Fury was saying that Anthony Joshua fought in a very unorthodox style for himself, like when he fought Andy Ruiz in his rematch, where he wasn't trying to initiate Andy Ruiz or initiate action. He was more running around the ring. Like this was the critiques coming from Tyson Fury, and Anthony Joshua, before setting out this proposal to help Tyson Fury in this rematch, was saying that he wants to do that because a fight between he and Tyson Fury would be easier to set up. So you're gonna help a guy who you potentially plan on facing um in a fight, like so he'll see all your tricks and trades. And I think there's something else like behind all this too. But you know, and it would be similar for or similar to Dillian White or Daniel Dubois or Andy Ruiz offering their services to Wilder. And I think people's reactions wouldn't be copacetic. Like I think people's reactions would be adamantly opposed to that. Um, but even when the case of Dillian White already lost to Anthony Joshua. Um, but I only use Dillian White as a case because Dillian White has a lot of bad stuff to say about Deontay Wilder. And Danny Dubois, I just used it as an example. I mean, he's a big dude from the UK. More alliances based on his country of origin to Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury than to Wilder. And I also use Andy Ruiz because Andy Ruiz was just beat by Anthony Joshua, but it's not a good comparison for, or not a good example for Tyson Fury. But having said that, I mean, like, I think people would twist their faces if any of these like fighters that I just mentioned offered their services to Deontay Wilder in helping him fight Tyson Fury. And I do see a lot of people are opposed to this. I think when it comes to Wilder, a lot of people that don't necessarily like Wilder, like they'll try to justify anything that's being thrown out there. And I hear like in most extreme cases, people saying, "Well, yeah, it's good for the UK like fighters to help each other, like to beat Wilder." But the common denominator is that like the these fighters' way of talking or doing business changes dramatically when it comes to Deontay Wilder, and that can't be disputed anymore. Having said that, there's no better sparring partner maybe that Tyson Fury could bring in, like to try to help him in this Wilder match, and there'll be no excuses. I mean, if Wilder ultimately beats Tyson Fury, I don't want to hear any excuses because he's already training as of December, and I think he was training in November even. That being Tyson Fury. He's gonna have like a world champion sparring partner in camp. He's gone to one of the best gyms. I thought the best recommendation that I can make for a gym in the as far as him going to the Kronk gym. He's gonna have that going into this fight against Deontay Wilder. So if Tyson Fury ultimately loses to Deontay Wilder, all the cards are stacked against Deontay Wilder, and if he's to come out victorious, I want some of you guys that are constant haters of Deontay Wilder to start giving him his just due, and to start giving him his credit, which I don't think is gonna happen. But we guys, some of this stuff should stop because we're witnessing history being made by this guy. I mean, like we're seeing historic avoidance, like when it comes to people wanting to fight Wilder, who's a world champion. I mean, people normally in boxing history want to fight champions. I mean, we're seeing the opposite here. His knockout rate is historic. He's been pursuing the other champions, as in Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, for ages, and like the level of ire and hate that Deontay Wilder gets, I think is historic too. I mean, I've never seen it really happen at this level for somebody who's not at the level of like a Mayweather. Ultimately, when he vanquishes Fury, or if he vanquishes Fury, which I think he will, you're gonna start seeing Wilder get into that kind of conversation where like the real fair weather or casual fans are gonna know who he is, and I think his purses are gonna go up significantly, and I think the way that he's being avoided can't be implemented anymore. Like when he starts making significantly more money than his peers, and where he's making all the headlines like in comparison to his peers, because we're starting to see that now, and that could only be good, a good thing in my eyes for Deontay Wilder, a fighter who, like I said, is seeking to look for all the action in his division. With that being said, I'm out. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit that like button if you could, or the dislike button. If you could leave a comment, I like opposing views and I like views of agreements as well. Make sure you subscribe to my other compatriots, Michael Johnson Boxing Talk and More, 503 Lion, Stay Ready Boxing, Lowe's Dawkins the Pimpin'. Who else? Brooklyn Child Boxing. If I forget anybody, I'm sorry, but make sure you subscribe to all those channels and subscribe to mine and hit that like. Peace. Have a good day.